Hello, welcome to Guide to the Unknown. I'm Kristen.
I'm William.
And we are going to scare you.
Oh, no. We're back again, everybody. Every Friday, more spooky stuff comes flying at you.
That's right.
Make sure you're subscribed all over the place. Make sure you tell your friends. Yeah, we seem to be having some sort of
spooky stuff like that.
Electronic phenomenon. Who knows what's going on? This show, you can listen to it on podcast apps. You can watch it on YouTube. And we're about to perform a terrifying dance for you.
That's right.
Before we dive into...
A danza macabre.
Yeah. Before we dive into our topics for the week, we got a spooky piece of, wow, I don't know. What do you want to call this? Like a phenomenon that occurred to a listener, basically.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
Yes. So in our Facebook group, you can follow us on Facebook. We also have a private Facebook group that you can join, and we talk about whatever we want in there. Michele shared something with us that we're literally going to play it for everybody listening and watching out there.
It's so good.
We talked about number stations in a previous episode of this show. Bizarre broadcasts that nobody knows the true origin of.
Yeah.
A mysterious anonymous voice calling out numbers, calling out a message. I've never experienced a real one in my life.
No,
but
either.
It seems that Michele has.
Well, I mean, did you read all of the comments on it?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Yeah. Why?
Well, because it's not a...
No, don't say that part yet. It's scary.
Okay. But then you just lied.
It's scary, Kristen. Okay. Everybody listen to this. This is what Michele heard through her car radio as she was on her way to roller derby practice.
Which is badass.
Take a listen.
Coming in 3 days. Maintain position.
So weird.
In this broadcast, I heard snippets of existing number stations. Like there were clips that I recognized from listening to things like the Cornet Project, which was like a 5 CD set of old radio number stations.
It was like really expensive.
Broadcasts.
W.
Yeah.
N. B. C. 1. 0. 6.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Coming in 3
I have to confess I didn't listen
days.
this far.
Maintain position.
All right, there you go. So this is, without having any understanding of what that was supposed to be, Michele heard that driving to practice.
Yeah, sorry, I should have kept the theatricality of the story.
Yeah, theatricality and deception are any Batman's greatest friends. Doesn't Bane
They
go
are
like...
his best friends.
Oh, he doesn't say... Bane goes like, you think the darkness is your ally.
Yeah.
He doesn't say, you think they're your friends. That's what I thought for a second. But
they are, clearly. He doesn't have a whole lot of friends.
It's true.
Things become your friends when people don't.
Yeah, that's right. He's not friends with Alfred. I saw a trailer for the show Gotham, which looks terrible. In the trailer for the new season, he fires Alfred.
That Bat Kid.
A little boy goes, "You're fired, Alfred."
Alfred just be like, you can't fire me. I'm your grown-up.
No, you
like,
idiot.
Alfred's basically his dad in that.
You can't live on your own.
Yeah, you're not allowed.
Yeah. So anyway, Michele did not know what the hell this thing was, obviously. It was just pumping through the radio. And then, yes, you heard that countdown coming in 2 days. When she originally posted it, she posted coming in 3 days.
Yeah.
It seems like it's to launch a new radio station, whatever.
Yes.
But
That's still so awesome. I'd be very inclined to listen to that radio station.
Oh, hell yeah.
Maybe they have a cool, like, coast-to-coast AM sort of show that's on there. That would rule.
I mean, if they just have that and then they just go like, all right, another top 40, you know, it's a little disappointing. And it's like, well, it's fun that you use something horrific to advertise your regular radio station. But like, how much better would it be if they were like, yeah, one of the segments that we have is like a paranormal something or other.
I'd be all over it. So that would pique my interest in my local radio station big time.
Oh,
but also
100%.
before I knew it was for my local radio station as an advertisement, I would be like, what the hell is this?
Oh, yeah, for damn sure.
What luck.
I'd be so into that.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you so much for sending that in,
Yeah,
Michelle.
thank you.
I'm both glad and disappointed everything ended up okay.
Me too. And we're going to revisit Michelle in a couple of minutes.
Hey. For anybody out there that is experiencing some sort of a phenomenon,
Yeah.
get in touch.
Yeah, tell us.
I think I might have some scary stories coming up in the next month or so.
Why? Why do you have a timeline for...
Well, maybe it's not necessarily in the next month or so. Yesterday, we did a home inspection of the house that Allie and I are buying.
Yeah. Okay.
And we were talking to the realtor and the home inspector, and I started asking them about frightening houses.
Yeah.
Hauntings.
Yeah,
Allie
yeah,
and I
yeah.
were talking about it. Like, do they have to do that whole thing where they have to disclose to you this house is haunted?
Right. Well, is it that they have to disclose that the house is haunted, or they just have to disclose? Because like haunted is so subjective. Like,
I know.
isn't it just that they have to disclose if there was like a violent death?
Well, they don't even have to disclose that.
Yeah.
It's up to the buyer
Right.
to
That they
ask.
should. Yeah.
Caveat emptor.
Yeah.
Let the buyer beware.
Ah.
It's up to you to ask, hey, was anybody murdered here? Otherwise, they will not tell you.
Yeah.
We found out.
Because I don't blame them.
However, talking to the inspector, talking to the real estate agent, they start saying, hey, we see scary houses all the time. Would you
Cool.
want to come to some of them?
What?
You know what Willie said? Yeah.
That's awesome. Can I
Yeah.
come?
Sure. Yeah.
That's so cool.
I don't know if it's actually going to come to pass.
Yeah.
We said it about 5,000 times over the course of a couple of hours, so I believe that they're as serious as I am.
Yeah.
But still, who knows? But yeah, they were telling me some pretty spooky stuff.
That's awesome.
All right, what do you think? What do you think next?
Well, it's just doing the stories, then we do our things, right?
Okay, yes. Yeah.
I
I
think
don't know
there's
if you
only-
had something that you were trying to navigate to about Michelle.
No, I do. But it can wait.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
Well, okay then. Then that means, everybody, it's time for more 2-sentence horror stories.
All right. So this is from Kate, and she submitted this through Facebook. As the sense of panic in the frantic, confused crowd spread, I grabbed my daughter's hand and began to run. It didn't take more than a few seconds for my brain to register the fact that, while I could feel every beloved curve of her little fingers, the rest of her was no longer there.
Nowhere to be found.
Yeah.
Severed arm.
Sweet.
That makes me think of like Jurassic Park. Isn't there a thing where they're trying to pull someone's arm out of a cage?
I think so. That
trying to pull
rings a bell.
someone out of a cage.
Yeah.
And they only get the arm.
Yeah, that rings a bell.
You know what? I'm going to do a quick medley. These are all from Bobby.
Okay, great. Yep.
I have these on cards. All right. Bobby posted these in the Facebook group.
Yeah.
If you ever believe the rumors about Hendrick Manor and you end up somewhere insane, just remember one thing. Never look behind you. Ooh. In 2078, the Robo Boys took over. I was one of them.
Chilling.
I always thought my little brother was strange. Turns out, my mom gave birth to an alien. Once, while searching a swamp for treasure,
This is my favorite one.
I came upon a tall man I later discovered had been dead all along. I am also a ghost. And there you have it. 2-sentence horror stories.
Thank you, Bobby.
Thanks, Bob. All right. Yeah, here we
Okay.
go. Topics at hand.
Okay, topics at hand. Mine is inspired by Michelle.
Okay.
So that's why I wanted to wait to mention her. Michelle sent us a postcard through the mail.
That's right.
And if you want to send us stuff through the mail, you can message me privately and I'll tell you where to do that. And it is really awesome. And I will read what she wrote 'cause it's not too private. I think Michelle will be okay with that. She said, "Hi, Kristen and Will. I thought you might enjoy some Vermont lore. Pictured on this postcard is one of the more well-known haunted places in Vermont. Keep up the great work with GTTU. Thank you so much for the hours of entertainment," from Michelle. So that was so nice. I loved getting this.
Yeah, that was really, really nice of you. Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you. And the picture on the front is of Emily's covered bridge in Stowe Hollow, Vermont.
Emily's covered bridge.
Yes.
Awesome. Like Sleepy Hollow. Wait a minute. In Stowe Hollow?
Yeah.
Another place called Hollow? What does it take for
That's
a place
not
to be
that
called
weird.
a hollow?
I don't know.
Well, but like in Sleepy Hollow, the story,
Yeah.
it's about the Headless Horseman not being able to go through that covered bridge.
Oh yeah, that is weird.
And so
yeah.
here we have Stowe Hollow and this haunted covered bridge.
I mean,
that
I know
feels semi, synchronicity weirdness.
that is weird. There's a
Right?
covered bridge in both hollows.
little bit.
I wonder if there's a covered bridge in Star Hollow or whatever from
God.
Gilmore Girls.
Oh boy.
I've never seen it
I was
before.
really hoping you were going to say Godric's Hollow from Harry Potter.
Well, that too, obviously. That goes without saying.
Yeah.
But I haven't noticed any covered bridges there.
Okay.
Okay, so I wanted to know what's up with Emily's covered bridge.
Yeah.
So I thought, perfect opportunity. Well, once I found out what it was, because if it wasn't that interesting, then I wouldn't do it. But it was very interesting. And
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? That's going to be my topic.
Awesome.
And it turns out there are a lot of interesting haunty things in Vermont. I'm sure that's the case for like every state. But next episode, or at least next episode that's not a theme episode in case we decide to do something else, I'm going to cover a different Vermont situation because it was really cool, but it would be too much. I didn't want to jam it all together because I thought they both deserved to breathe.
Okay. Yeah.
These stories.
Yeah, that's fair.
So today I'm going to talk about Emily's covered bridge.
Awesome. Hey, can we just point out that
Yeah.
Michelle's Twitter handle is @cryptickablam?
Yeah, totally. I didn't say because I didn't know if she wanted us to say it or not.
Well, it's Twitter. I assume
Yeah.
it's fine.
That's
If not,
true.
I'll cut it out.
Yeah.
Who knows? Okay.
Michelle, just let us know.
Yeah.
I figured she was saying it to like let us know who she was in case we didn't know. Of course I know
We
Michelle.
know. Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
Okay. So the story of Emily's covered bridge has a bunch of different origin stories. The basic gist is jilted girl named Emily dies there.
Okay.
But here are the variations with it. That she was supposed to meet her love there at the bridge, and then they would elope together, but he never showed up, so she hung herself from the rafters of the bridge.
Oh, wow.
The other story is that they were going to get married in a church, and that she was stood up at the altar wearing her beautiful red dress. Red clothes come up later in my next Vermont Stories episode.
Huh.
Red clothes are a bad sign in Vermont.
Really?
Yeah.
What's going on?
Like red balloons and whatever it is.
It?
Oh, that too. No, The Sixth Sense.
Red balloons?
Well, maybe just red in The Sixth Sense is a
Oh,
problem.
yeah.
There's a red balloon that floats. Does
Right.
it pop
at
up a lot?
At a party, and then he gets locked in like a little crawl space or something.
I haven't seen that in forever.
Yeah.
Is it red balloons in The Sixth Sense, or it's just the color red?
I think it's the color red.
Okay.
Yeah.
But anyway, red clothing in Vermont is a bad omen.
Okay.
And I'll fill that in another time. But so she was wearing a red wedding dress, which I really respect, went to the church. He never showed up. So then she took the family wagon, like horse and buggy kind of wagon, to go find him. And she was pissed. So she was like making them go really fast. And then she didn't take a turn properly right before the bridge. And they all fell off the bridge and died.
Ooh.
Or same scenario of a wedding and stuff, but it's a car and the car drives off the bridge. Because this is all said to have happened around like 1920. The car thing is unlikely because only like really rich families had cars back then, like at that time.
Yeah. Okay. Boy, the hanging one.
I know. Well, also for the hanging one, you brought rope
Yeah, you brought rope and like a chair
for your
or a
elopement?
stool.
Yeah.
An elopement.
An elopement.
And then you
I'll get
do it
to
in
it.
this bridge, and then I guess people in horses and buggies come by, and your feet are hitting them in the face.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, no good. And then the last variation of the story is that same jilted lover thing, but she jumped off the bridge.
Okay.
So there
This is
are
a pretty short bridge. I mean,
William,
we can see a picture of the bridge. There's a little crick under it.
I'm going to get to it.
Okay.
Okay. So here's the thing. There is no record of a woman named Emily killing herself on the bridge.
My God.
None.
My God.
And there's actually another bridge on this same road that, if this story is even true, if there's any truth to any of it, that it's way more likely so it's like, if the story is true at all, and if it's the jumped off the bridge version, it wouldn't even be this bridge that everybody goes to as Emily's bridge because it's too little. The other bridge, you could jump off and kill yourself.
Huh. Okay. Okay.
So even if that's true, people are flocking to the wrong bridge.
Yeah.
But for that story in particular, I mean, it doesn't really matter that much
Yeah.
anyway. So the thing is, it's kind of up for debate whether there was any Emily at all, or whether this is just a story that kind of like developed over time, like
Yeah.
through maybe a telephone situation. Maybe there's like a kernel of truth to it. It's not really sure. So basically, there's some old timers who remember this story coming up in the 30s. Like if you like local historians have asked them, they're like, yeah, I remember the Emily story being a thing in the 30s, but only a couple of them. Some people are like, yeah, I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
And then most things that are online said that the story seemed to really take off locally when a teen in 1968 wrote a paper for high school saying that they had taken a Ouija board to that bridge and that an entity named Emily showed up.
Awesome.
But then there's a local woman named Nancy who says that she straight up made the story up. So
Even better.
I think the truth is probably, somewhere in the middle there.
Yeah.
And so this is from an article that was about the Emily's covered bridge legend and also about how it's really annoying to the residents of Stowe who live right around there because people go there all the time.
Oh, that's
so great. Many attribute the story to Nancy Steed, a longtime resident of Stowe and a columnist for the Stowe Reporter, who has claimed that she started the rumor several decades ago. According to Steed, in the early 1970s, tales of witchcraft were becoming all the rage. One day, while sitting around a pond with Hazel Carlson, Steed and Carlson decided to come up with some witchcraft of their own to scare the kids swimming in the pond. The girls were buzzing about witchcraft and covens, and we said we should probably tell them about this bridge and this girl Emily who died there, Steed said. Each of us would add our own line to the story, and boom, it just took off and went crazy. But it was just made up.
That's awesome.
But the local historians seem to think that's not quite true. Like she might have told that story and everything, but it's a big coincidence that there was a story like that floating around before that happened. That happened in the 70s, she's saying. This kid wrote a story in school in 1968 saying that they contacted Emily on the bridge, and they're older people who remember being in the 30s and them talking about Emily. So it's most likely that she kind of remembers hearing that story and maybe doesn't remember it or something. Yeah. And that might have kicked off the real Emily fever, but she probably didn't actually make that up from scratch.
Emily Fever is a great name for a band.
Yes.
Where
yeah.
the front woman is named Emily.
Or just somebody's solo project, somebody who has a band and then they want to split off and do their own thing, and it's Emily Fever.
I got it. I figured it out.
Okay.
Middle school boy at a talent show playing an original song he wrote about his breakup with Emily.
That is better than all of them.
Emily Fever. Or they just started dating.
Yeah.
And so he's really
coming on too strong.
Yeah.
And Emily's a little bit in the audience of the talent show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. This almost feels because it's all of this sort of it's almost convergent evolution where there's a myth and some writing and stuff and somebody who claims that they created the story.
Right.
It's almost like this event is fated to occur or something. Or we talked about the idea that ideas exist outside people and sort of travel and snake in through your ear and get in your brain.
Yeah.
It's there's this idea of this woman on the bridge that must exist. This story must exist somehow. So multiple people are inventing it.
Well, maybe, if the story is an idea, maybe it snaked into the ear of these women in the 30s, didn't really take for some reason. Then it came back to this kid in 68, and then it didn't really totally pop off then. So a few years later, it tried again, and finally there was a boom.
Yeah, exactly.
And it became a thing. So then those kids told other kids, and it became this whole big story.
Yeah. Maybe it's even an Emily who killed herself in the mid 1800s.
Yeah.
And she's somebody has to remember me.
Again, there's a thing with that.
Really?
Kind of. You'll see. Okay. So, besides just the story and how it started, here is what the kids and everybody say happens when you go to the bridge. Because there's always the story of what happened at the bridge and then the scary things that happened there or whatever. So, people driving on the bridge hear a scraping on the roof of their car from her feet dangling from where she hung herself.
That's awesome.
There are scratch marks on cars that drive on the bridge on the side of the car. People walking on the bridge and ghost hunting feeling touched or scratches. This one is freaky to me. This is so good. I feel like I haven't heard this before. You'll see in a second. At first, it's going to sound basic. So hearing the sound of footsteps in there, or women's screams, or the sound of rope tightening.
Ooh.
That is such a specific, weird sound.
Yeah.
That is freaky deaky.
That's really cool. Just that groan of a knot tightening.
Yeah. A weird,
that's cool.
squeak, but not a horrible squeak.
Yeah.
Not a nails on a chalkboard squeak, but you can picture that sound.
Oh, yeah.
Seeing an apparition, as you do. And if you drive your car into the bridge and honk 3 times right at midnight, that's when an apparition should show up.
You want me?
Yeah.
Hello?
You rang. And most appearances of her are supposed to be between 12 a.m. and 3 a.m.
Okay.
So that's when people show up and do all that stuff. And also other people have brought Ouija boards there since that kid in high school did to kind of contact her. And an entity has shown up again saying that they're Emily, but plot twist that their fiance's mother killed them.
Oh.
I know.
Huh.
I don't know.
Maybe multiple people named Emily have died on this bridge, and there's a curse.
Well, there's no record of like deaths on the bridge,
Kristen.
like Emily or otherwise.
Kristen,
there are deaths near the bridge, so
you're glib. You're glib. It's happened.
I watched that like last week or something.
Of course you did.
Yeah, I know.
Tom
It's
Cruise talking to Matt Lauer.
So painful. He is such
Like 15 years ago.
he is such a tool in that interview. Oh, he's awful.
Yeah.
He's on that tangent because Brooke Shields said that antidepressants really helped her through her postpartum.
Right.
And he's taking issue with that.
Right.
Blow right
New
off.
Mission Impossible looks kind of cool.
Is there a new Mission Impossible?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, really?
Of course.
Does it look cool?
No, I couldn't understand the trailer.
Does he have a fake butt?
I'm not even kidding. Everyone Google Tom Cruise fake butt.
Now that's a conspiracy theory worth researching.
Give yourself a good night. It's going to be excellent.
It is so funny. And then revisit this after you've seen the picture and you'll understand. I know you and I have talked about this.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think he's wearing a fake butt in it, even though I think it's hilarious.
I think he is wearing a fake butt.
I don't think so. I think that wind, like from like the set in the machine, blew up
Pulled his cheeks off his body a little bit.
Blew up his pants just so. I really do. I've watched this a bunch of times, and because like the butt then like collapses, like it doesn't last. The fake butt doesn't last because he like stands up and it goes away. It's not a fake butt. It's just so funny.
Didn't he have to comment on it?
Yeah, somebody asked him. And I don't know what he said. Nothing like great. I don't remember what he
Hey, I
said.
saw your fake butt in that movie, Cruise.
I think he just said it wasn't a fake butt. I only read the text of it. I didn't see the video. So I don't know if he was like trying to be like fake cool bad. I'm like, yeah, no, well, it wasn't fake. And he's like really pissed. Yeah.
See, that's
There
why
you
I
go.
love
There
the
you go.
community.
Yeah.
The fans, they come up with the craziest thing.
But he's like,
Let's move on.
His eyes are really mad.
Oh, burning coals.
I bet he doesn't like that story. I really bet he doesn't.
I bet it does not at all.
Yeah. Oh, it's so funny.
That's all me. Those cheeks, all me. You see those buns? When you see
I'm
buns,
telling you,
I want you to think Cruise.
It's a gust of wind. I'm telling you.
A mighty wind.
Yeah. Okay. So the people who come to ghost hunt there and everything, because it's like a really popular spot in that area, they're mostly really respectful. Like the people who live around there say that like stuff doesn't happen a ton. Like people go there a lot to do ghost hunting things, just to check it out. It's like a tourist destination, things like that. And it's mostly fine.
Yeah.
But there are like partying teens who go there.
Okay.
So they'll go with like tons of beer and stuff, and they'll be yelling and screaming like they're scared. And the acoustics of the bridge are such that it carries really far.
Oh, it makes it like a
it's
sonic cannon.
Yeah, so it's really annoying to the people who live in the area. And then also, they said that if you were going to the bridge or you were on it, you might not know that there were actually people who lived around it just because there are like trees covering houses and everything. It's not super obvious that there are like residences right there.
Yeah.
So it's a super annoying thing. And so the article that one of the things I read was basically about the fact that this place is a pain for people.
Yeah.
And that they kind of like the local legend and everything, but also like they don't really want to draw a ton of attention to it and like fan the flames.
Yeah.
So people have maybe asked them to comment on it, and some people in town or in the area have been like, I don't want to talk about it because I just don't want to like make it more popular and make more people come here.
Why don't they just uncover this bridge? What's the point of having it covered?
It's a historic thing. It's like a historic landmark.
But if it's that much of a problem,
It's
where
not
they're like,
that
we don't
much.
even want to talk about this anymore because it's so annoying.
I don't know. It's obviously not that much of a
Take the
problem.
cover off that bridge.
Well, they own it. Like there's like merch for the town and everything that has stuff about Emily's Bridge on it. And
Oh
stuff.
yeah, like you can buy like a loaf of bread with a little bridge around it.
Probably. a bread bridge.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not like the hugest deal, but it is annoying. And one of the things in the article said that teens will race through the bridge, sometimes with somebody on the hood of their car.
Oh, come
Teens
on.
are such idiots.
This bridge looks really short, too.
Yeah. Well, there's street on either. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
you
I
drive
know.
through it.
Yeah, I know, but it's like I'm going to get on the hood of this car for about 0.5 seconds. Hey, back to that.
Probably not. They probably just like are doing that like dummies and just drive through the bridge. Like they're not just on the hood of the car to experience the bridge that way.
It's like I'm inside, but I'm outside. Do it again, Jonathan. Hey, about that covered bread
Yeah.
bridge.
Bridge bread?
Come get a loaf of bread in
Ew.
Vermont.
That sounds disgusting.
Come have a loaf of bread.
Bread.
Yeah.
Ugh, that doesn't sound good.
Wanted to make sure I said that
Yeah.
A1 joke.
Yes, of course. But also, there's like really hardly any ways you can make bread not appetizing to me, and to call it bread
Bread.
kind of does it.
Have a wedge of bread.
It's still bread though.
No?
Yeah. You don't really have a wedge of bread. Who has a wedge of bread?
What if you had like banana bread?
Well, number one, I would never.
Yeah, I know.
No.
I never.
They're disgusting.
Yeah.
Oh God, there was a banana on my path on the sidewalk, and I wasn't happy about it.
Did you panic because you couldn't keep walking that way?
I was worried that Crumbs was going to pick it up, and then I was going to have to touch it.
Saying like there was a banana in front of me on my path, it's like as if there's like a big brick wall you can't get through, like as if you can't just step onto the grass and walk
Practically.
around it, juking, trying to figure out a way to get around this banana on the ground.
Talk about Mission Impossible. So I found something so weird and interesting during my research. So I just, I was Googling a bunch of stuff and just taking in all this stuff about Emily's Bridge that I could, basically. And there was a story on medium.com, which is a place where you can just upload things that you write.
Yeah.
Called A Haunting Experience on Emily's Bridge by Alan Barnes. So I was reading it, I read the whole thing, and it was like really well written and really cool. And then I got to the end and I was like, okay, like I want to know who wrote this, whatever. And it said Alan Barnes is part of like, I think it was like I didn't write down that part, did I? No. The ex-para investigative group.
Okay.
But then it said in parentheses, this is a fictional story. So I was like, what's that? So I went back up, clicked on the author's name, and it's this guy whose name is Davy Russell, and he writes medium stories kind of with this character, Alan Barnes, who has a paranormal group. And I would read the other ones. The one that I read was good and it was cool.
So it's almost like a meta
X-Files kind of thing.
happening on Medium.
Yes, because they were all weird. Like there was one about the chupacabra. I don't remember what else was on there, but it was well written and good. I liked it.
That's cool.
But the reason I mentioned the whole thing and it being fictional and everything was that, well, I kind of told this backwards. Within the story, it said that there was a grave in Stowe for little Emmeline, and it was positing, like, I wonder if that could be Emily of Emily's Bridge. So I read that, and I hadn't read through the whole thing. Well, I read the whole thing, but I didn't read the details and find out that it was fictional.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, I haven't seen that in any of my research so far. Let me Google that. So I Googled little Emmeline, Emily's Bridge, and only two other things came up. And one of them was this book that I guess is like, I don't know how else stuff works, but it's like a Google ebook called Champ and a Bit of Sunshine, a cryptozoology and craft beer adventure by Mark D. Trollinger. And I guess it like is kind of it's like a whole book, but it seems like you can find it all online. Like it seemed like the whole thing was on there, and it mentioned little Emmeline's grave. And I was like, okay, but it was weird because there were so few things that mentioned it. So I kind of think that that guy, Mark Trollinger, who wrote the book, may have used the Medium piece as part of his research on his book.
Yeah.
But I'm still unclear about whether that is a true part of the story or not. Like whether there really is a grave of little Emmeline in Stowe, because there's a picture of the grave.
Okay. So
that makes it seem like it's true, but I'm
Yeah.
surprised that there wasn't any other reference to it whatsoever, except for one more thing that I'll tell you that's totally sweet.
Okay.
So that makes me think that maybe either just maybe nobody made that connection before. Because it's not, it's not Emily. It's little Emmeline.
Yeah.
Little Emmeline sounds like a kid or something, not like a woman in her like 20s who's going to get married.
Right.
So maybe it just hadn't occurred to somebody. Or is it fictional and both of these guys picked up on that?
Right.
And this mysterious Reddit post.
Okay.
So this rounds out the 3 instances of little Emmeline's grave being mentioned anywhere that I found on Google.
Huh. Okay.
Okay, and this is totally sweet. So this is a Reddit post called "An Old Gravestone Untouched Changed Itself in a Week," and the user deleted their name.
Oh.
So I can't know if it, because I was curious if it was Davy
there any
Russell.
connection to these two?
Is it
Yeah.
Mark Trollinger? But I don't know.
Yeah.
I researched ghost stories. There's a ghost story where this girl, Emily, died at a covered bridge and supposedly haunts it. There's supposedly her stone at an old gravestone. Whatever, I'm just going to read it as is. The stone is from 1847. No one else has been buried there since 1930, I guess in the graveyard. So the only people that maintain it is the town for mowing. Here is the weird part. I was with a friend and we went up to Emily's stone. It said 1847, Little Emmeline. Below that had Parents of Horace. Now flash forward to a week. I go back and now the same stone is in the same stone in the same place reads Little Emmeline. The year 1847 is now gone and now says 1921. Shocked, I called my friend who was with me the week prior and was convinced it also used to say 1847. What's strange is someone else told me that Emily might have died in the 1920s and not the 1800s. So that's very strange. Anyway, remember how her parents were listed on the stone? Well, now they aren't anymore. They were nowhere to be found on the stone, not even anything etched there. To make this more freaky, when I kept checking it once a week or so, the year always changes from 1847 to 1921. I'm kind of freaked out.
Huh.
And then the comments under are just like, take a picture, like, whatever.
Yeah. Take pictures of both versions.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
So, like, I just thought that was cool because it kind of mirrors in the same way that the Emily story became a thing. Like, people were maybe just passing around information that maybe was like somebody's vague idea or guess, and it starts to become a real story over time. I wonder if possibly the little Emmeline thing could become a real part of the story over time. And it just kind of like is the same way that some things get kicked up.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, it's almost like weirdly, like paradoxically, both of those stories are true. So this grave is continually vacillating between both versions of the story.
Yeah.
So sometimes it corresponds to the earlier story. Sometimes it corresponds to the
Well,
later
it doesn't
story.
even correspond to an earlier story. That's the only, when he, like, nobody has ever said she died in the 1800s. It's always been 1920s.
Oh, you're right. But I did before. So maybe it's also happening fourth dimensionally, and me even saying it before affected all this stuff in the past.
I can't handle it.
Yeah.
That stuff makes me wacko.
I think it's probably the case that
Probably.
was what happened. Yeah. Well, it's also like a tulpa. The idea that the more that people believe something, it just becomes real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Cool.
So that's the story of Emily's Bridge. Thank you very
weird.
much, Michelle, for bringing that into my life.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Thank you, Michelle. Excellent.
Yeah.
Emily's Bridge.
Totes.
Cool.
All
Okay.
right. Hit me.
Kristen, my story for you this week is a few stories wrapped in one.
Okay.
I'm going to start this by reading you one of my favorite creepypastas.
Okie dokie.
We've had a few requests from people out
Yep.
there.
Annabelle?
Yeah, to have us read more creepypastas and stuff.
Yeah.
This is a very brief one.
Yep.
I believe it's a classic.
Oh, great.
As I found
Then
it
who is
online. Yeah, no, not then who was phone. As I found it online this time, it was called Subway Stare. Author unknown.
Okay.
I'd like to credit them, but I do not know. A woman was sitting on the subway late one night, and she noticed that the woman sitting across from her was staring intently at her. She pretended not to notice, but each time she glanced at the woman, the staring continued. At one of the stops, a new passenger got on and sat next to her. After a couple of minutes, he quietly told her he thought she should get off at the next stop. Knowing the next stop was a busy one, she agreed. When the next stop came up, she left the train with the man. The man said to her, "Thank God. I didn't mean to scare you, but I had to get you off that train. The woman sitting opposite of you was dead, and the two men on either side were propping her up."
Yep. I remember
Dead
that.
person
Yeah,
on
yeah,
a
yeah.
train, I guess just sitting back.
That is such a good freaky one.
Such a good
That's
weird
definitely one of the first creepypastas that I read.
Yeah, really.
Like, I
really
think you,
interesting.
I remember you or I finding creepypastas and like reading that to each other and being like, whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the reason that I read that to you is because, Kristen, I'm going to be telling you about Weekend at Bernie's in real life.
Cool.
Real life at Bernie's.
Cool. Weekend at Real Life.
Yeah. So, you know, the Weekend at Bernie's movies. There are two of them.
I do.
And they're about two doofuses.
You mean starring Jonathan Silverman?
Oh, my God. Why do you know that?
The Single Guy?
What?
I don't know.
What is that?
He was on a show called The Single Guy.
Oh, my God, Kristen.
I know. I don't know why I know some stuff.
Obviously, those movies should be remembered as starring Terry Kaiser.
Is that Bernie?
That's Bernie.
Yeah.
So these movies...
A gifted physical comedian.
Sure. Both of the movies are about these two idiots whose boss died, and now they are trying to, for a variety of reasons, pretend he is still alive.
Have you seen Weekend at Bernie's?
I have seen Weekend at Bernie's too.
Okay.
Several times as a young man.
I've only seen like when I would turn on Comedy Central and be like, Weekend at Bernie's is on again.
Kristen,
like I haven't actually seen it.
These movies are so much darker than I thought they were.
Really?
Yeah. Like obviously they're about someone dying and then people manipulating the corpse. So obviously that's inherently messed up. But I read the plot on Wikipedia just to refresh my memory.
Yeah.
It's bleak.
Really? What happens? What's wrong with Bernie?
Bernie is a criminal businessman.
Cool.
His two idiot employees, Larry and Richard, find out that the books at the company are cooked. There's some sort of fraud going on.
Yeah.
They bring this to Bernie, and Bernie is responsible for all this, but he doesn't let them know that. Instead, he commends them for a job well done and invites them to come to the Hamptons with him to celebrate as like a little gift. You found something that's going to help the company.
Yeah.
But he's actually using his mob associates to put out a hit on the two dummies.
Oh, okay. So you're just going to get them in the crosshairs.
Yes, Bernie wants to kill the morons.
Yeah.
However, his mob associates feel like maybe Bernie's a little more trouble than it's worth.
Oh, okay.
So they kill him instead via a lethal overdose of drugs.
Oh.
Isn't that really dark?
Yeah.
Not that
So
there's
is he
like
doing
a
like
nice
Coke
light...
or something like that? And
I don't
it's like
know.
too much?
I don't have an answer.
That white horse is galloping a little too hard?
Yeah, he gets trampled by the white horse.
Yeah.
So Larry and Richard find the body, but before they can call the police, people show up for a party. Everybody thinks that Bernie is alive.
Why?
I don't know. He's wearing a hat and glasses.
Sitting?
Yeah, he's just like leaning back. So they decide, we're going to keep the facade that he's alive so that we can enjoy our time in the Hamptons. From what I can tell, that is the plot.
Oh my God.
Then there's all this stuff about the mob. The hitman is like, I could have swore I killed him, but he's still alive. How is this possible? And he's like watching as Larry and Richard are dragging a corpse down the road. He's like, he's obviously alive. There's a scene where a woman named Tina goes upstairs to spend some time with Bernie. And the two guys are on the couch. I watched a clip of this. It shows the two guys on the couch like staring up the stairs at the closed door. Tina comes out of the door.
Is this during the party?
No. It's quiet. It's at night. I don't know what's going on.
Like the same night of the party or just some other time?
Kristen, I don't have an answer for you.
Okay,
I did not watch this movie and I refuse to watch it.
Rigor mortis joke?
All I saw from the YouTube video was three people. Two morons on the couch.
Yeah.
And then Tina leaving the bedroom and walking downstairs and just kind of being like, ooh, and having a drink. And they're like, it's not possible. Could she have? No, she couldn't have. And it's definitely like, I just don't understand.
What?
Kristen. Yeah. Anyway.
Ew.
Then
do they, in your research, I'm not going to ask you questions as though you've seen this movie, which is hard for me not to do. In your research, did they reference decomposition at all or anything? Or do they just stay away from
They just stay away from that. I don't think there's any time in Weekend at Bernie's.
Okay.
But that's where Weekend at Bernie's 2 comes in, Kristen. For you see, now they're trying to figure out where Bernie's millions that he sacked away from the company went. Also, while they're trying to do that, Larry and Richard are trying to do that, there's also a voodoo queen named...
Oh, my God.
Named Queen Mobu.
Okay.
She wants to reanimate Bernie's corpse and have him lead them to the buried gold.
Okay.
Something.
So it's like the Legend of Curly's Gold, but bad?
Is that good? City Slickers 2 in memory?
Yes.
It is? All right. So she needs to use a sacrificial chicken, but it gets away. So she has to use a pigeon instead. And it ends up having...
So it makes something go wrong?
Yes. Now Bernie will only move if there's music playing.
Oh, that rings a bell. I can
Yeah.
see Bernie dancing.
Larry and Richard something.
Yeah.
They end up shoving Bernie's corpse in a suitcase to take him to the Bahamas or something.
My God.
Yeah. Then they shove him in a fridge.
Oh my God. Does Bernie have any family? Is anybody looking for him?
It's kind of sad that the answer is no, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why
Even
is
though
it?
he's like a criminal businessman who was going to commit murder.
He's still a human being.
I know. So they end up putting headphones on him and he's dancing across
Yeah,
the
I can
beach.
picture that. Yeah.
And then he walks into the water and somebody shoots a harpoon gun at his head and it breaks the headphones.
Oh my
And he's
God.
holding a treasure chest of money and they
Yeah.
can't get it. It's hilarious.
Oh my God.
Then they shove him in a box. I don't know.
Wow.
They get the money.
And
They give the company back the $2 million that Bernie stole. And one of the guys is like, I can't believe you did that. Like, after everything we did, you just gave the money back. And he goes, he didn't steal $2 million, Richard. He stole $3 million. So they
Nice.
essentially they steal $1 million.
Yeah.
And then the movie ends with them having bought a yacht.
and plus defile a
and,
corpse.
and
Yeah.
hire beautiful women to be the shipmates. I don't understand.
Ew, that sounds right. Did any time elapse between Weekend at Bernie's 1 and 2 in the Berniverse?
Unclear.
Okay. Is
I
it
don't
like,
know.
a day later? Okay.
It is interesting that you mentioned the Bernieverse, however,
Yeah.
because it seems that a very good show is part of it.
What?
In Seinfeld, Kramer tells Elaine to watch Weekend at Bernie's 2 because it has a hilarious premise. It's a jean pick at the video store, and Kramer says that's better than a pick by that art house goon Vincent. Later, Elaine watches it, annoyed and shouting, Bernie's dead, you idiots!
I remember that.
I don't know if that really makes that Seinfeld part of the Bernieverse, but
There's some tie in
it
there.
does to me.
Yeah.
Okay, so what I really wanted to talk to you about, I
just want to hear more about Weekend at Bernie's, but fine.
I immediately Googled Weekend at Bernie's in real life.
Okay, real quick. Why did Weekend at Bernie's come across your path before you, like, how did this happen? What was the origin of you deciding to do this? Because I guess I assumed that you somehow were looking for something scary, found this, and you're like, oh, that's like Weekend at Bernie's. Not that you were researching Weekend at Bernie's, and then you're like, I wonder if there's a scary story I could use here.
Well, Kristen, I'll let you in on a little secret.
Yeah.
I was driving to work the other day, and somebody driving behind me, I was watching in the rearview mirror,
Yeah.
and they were like tailgating me hardcore. I had to basically like slam on the brakes one point, and I assumed
Yeah.
the person behind me was going to hit me. They did not.
Yeah.
But I looked in the rearview mirror, and this was a tense moment.
Yeah.
And the driver was like white knuckled, like, oh my God, I'm so glad I hit the brakes at the right moment.
Yeah.
And the passenger
Oh, God.
was like lolling. Like his face was
Okay.
unresponsive.
Yeah.
So then I started imagining a scenario where they do rear end me.
Yeah.
I go to exchange information with them and say something like, is your passenger okay?
Yeah.
And the driver's like, yeah, he's fine. And then like basically peels off and later we find out the passenger
It's a Weekend
was
at
dead.
Bernie's.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's essentially what got me thinking of it.
Gotcha.
And then I came up with a few stories of Weekend at Bernie's IRL.
Oh, yeah.
in real
okay,
life.
yeah.
So-
when you said came up with, I thought you meant like you wrote them, and
Yeah.
I was like, what?
I've been writing some Weekend at Bernie's
That's
fanfic.
what I thought for just a second.
I'm hoping to reboot Weekend at Bernie's, or maybe just do a spiritual sequel that takes place in the same world. We reference the events, but
Right.
yeah, there's a new Bernie.
Very
in town.
tasteful.
Yeah. So, Kristen, I'm going to tell you. I'll tell you this one first.
Okay.
In April 2010, in Liverpool,
It's not long ago. Okay,
every
go ahead.
one of the
Yeah.
stories I'm going to tell you is very recent.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm not changing the names to protect the innocent. For the
Sure.
record.
I mean, I'm
got
sure
these
you can-
I got these from news articles.
Yeah, I'm
so,
sure.
yeah.
Because I already feel like I know something about this. Okay.
Okay. At an airport in Liverpool, I don't know how to pronounce his name. Gitta Durant arranged for a flight crew to help her get her husband on a plane heading to Germany.
Yeah.
She told him that her husband, Kurt Willie Gerant, was disabled.
Yeah.
Needed a hand getting out of his wheelchair.
Disabled indeed.
The couple was traveling.
Ultimate disability, one would say.
The ultimate disability, death. The couple was traveling with their daughter, Anka, and the two women told the crew that Kurt was sleeping, just sleeping in his wheelchair. The airport worker tasked with helping Kurt get on the plane, Andrew Malia, said he knew something was wrong immediately. There's a quote. I immediately felt unsure about the situation, but I did my best to help by carefully lifting the man from his seat.
Oh my God.
To my horror, his face fell sideways against mine. It was ice cold.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Malia notified the police and they quickly confirmed the man was dead.
Oh my God.
I'm laughing. It's horrible. It's real.
I know.
It's a true story.
I know. This rings a bell. I wonder if I've heard of this story, or I'm thinking that maybe Law and Order or somewhere, like,
Maybe.
or did a rip from the headlines thing. Anyway.
Maybe. Despite further claims from his wife and stepdaughter saying that he was
God.
just sleeping, and it was unclear at that point how long he had been dead, they found out the tickets had been purchased weeks earlier, presumably when the man was still alive.
Right. They didn't want to waste a ticket.
Yeah. And Gita insisted he was alive when they got to the airport and demanded an apology from the police and the airport.
Oh my God.
Okay. Do you want the sad story at all?
Yeah, I guess. Give me the whole story.
It's part of it.
Yeah.
Okay. So it turns out Kurt Willie Gerent had Alzheimer's. He wanted to go home to Germany to die.
Oh.
So in a way, his wife and stepdaughter were trying to fulfill his request to go home.
But he was already dead.
Now, here's the thing that makes me go from like being like, of course it's sad. It's a horrible story that this happens to anyone.
That doesn't make it better to me. They missed the boat.
No, and even
gotta let it
worse,
go.
even worse than that, Gita and Anka then asked if they could get on the flight without him.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Somebody pointed out online, this means that they had already fooled a taxi driver. For the record. Later investigations, I followed up. I read like 5 news articles about this. Later investigation revealed that he had been dead for perhaps as long as 36 hours.
Oh my God.
Perhaps as little as 12 hours. Either way, he died of natural causes.
It just doesn't make any difference to me, to tell you the truth.
That's just crazy.
12 is like as bad as 36.
The police determined there was insufficient evidence to press any charges. Gita and Anka were released.
They probably don't know what charge they would press.
What are we supposed to do here? Yeah.
I mean, I
Unfounded.
guess like, some countries are, have things about like, I don't know, defiling a dead body maybe? I don't know,
Yeah.
whatever.
Oh, I forgot. I wanted to write quippy headlines for each one of these things. Because I
You have anything in mind?
This next
Off the
story.
top?
This next story I called 2 Dudes in Denver, and then I came up with 2 Girls, 1 Corpse. Because so many people still use 2 Girls, 1 Cup as a joke. You'd be surprised, or maybe you wouldn't.
I know.
So 2 Dudes in Denver,
Yeah.
Kristen. Now this one's September 2011.
Okay.
All right. Robert Jeffrey Young was having money trouble,
Yeah.
and his buddy, another Jeff, Jeffrey Jarrett,
That's okay.
2 Jeffs, 1 house, offered for Young to stay with him for a while. Now Young came home one day
Yeah.
to find Jeffrey Jarrett dead.
Okay.
And it gave him a great idea.
What the hell?
Young went out to tell his other friend, Mark Rubinson, who worked at a bar.
Okay.
Together they went back to the house and put Jeff in the car.
How did Jeff die? Do we know that?
I do not know.
And like, how old?
He was in his 40s, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. They put him in the car and they head out to Teddy T's Bar and Grill.
Okay.
Where they drank on Jeff's tab
That's disgusting.
while his body is in the car. Then they went to Viva Burrito.
Oh, wait, I'm confused. I
Don't
thought
step on that. Hold on. Then they went to Viva Burrito.
that sounds good.
Anyway, what was your question?
But like, I thought you were going to say they brought him out with him to the bar
No.
so that they could like use his card and stuff with him there. Why even bring him in the car?
They just wanted
if
his
you're-
money, yeah.
So just leave him at home and take his money. Why would you even bring him out?
You know, they may not have been the best planners.
Perhaps no. Okay.
We may never know for sure.
That is so weird.
Maybe they were really good planners. I don't know.
Well, how does it turn out for them?
Not good.
So then not great players, probably.
Yeah, true. So then they withdrew.
They're no Anka and Gita.
No, that's for damn sure.
Yeah.
They then withdrew $400 from their buddy's card to use at the strip club Shotgun Willie's.
What schmucks? Who's in the mood to do all this after you find your friend dead?
I don't know, but they stayed at the strip club through closing.
Ew.
Finally, at 4 a.m., they flagged down a cop to get some help.
What for what?
Their friend was dead, Kristen. The whole time.
What is going on here?
For like
Why
almost
are
a
they
day.
flagging down a cop for help?
I don't know. I guess they thought it was
This
cool
is
to do that.
so weird. I think they were on the white horse.
Maybe.
This doesn't make any sense. Why would they? It doesn't make sense.
Allegedly. Who knows? These two morons.
The white horse.
They were charged with abusing a corpse, identity theft, and criminal impersonation.
I don't understand that whole story. That is so stupid. These sound like really dumb and weird guys. I don't understand why they took him with them, and just left him in the car places.
Is there any other way for them to come across other than dumb and weird?
But like, why even bring him with you? Just take his wallet if you're going to do that.
I don't see why that's all that much better. To be honest,
But I just don't understand why.
It's worse to drag the body into the car, for sure. Like, completely agreed with you. It's insane.
I'm not even talking about worse. I don't understand why. What's the point?
I guess they felt like they could then. Well, first of all, he's out of that house. Maybe one of the two Jeffs still needs to live there.
I guess.
Right?
Yeah, but they're probably going to drive their car still. There's been a corpse in it for like 12 hours.
Good point, Chris.
Whatever.
Who
I don't
knows?
get it.
Who
Okay.
knows? I do want to point out.
Look, I don't get these guys.
I do want to point out with both of these stories real quick. The women in Germany, these guys in Denver. The first corpse was Kurt Willie Jarrett.
Okay.
The second one was
yeah.
Jeffrey Jarrett.
That's weird.
And that's strange.
That is very strange. Maybe a J, a double R, and a T is like a weird death sentence.
It's like the Grim Reaper was going alphabetically. Chore list. He was doing his honeydew list and he got to the J's. Bizarre. Anyway. All right, now here's the final story I got for you. I call this one Checked Out. Now, this was in January 2008.
Okay.
In the Big Apple, Manhattan.
Okay.
Take a bite.
Wow. No, thank you. Not for this kind of story.
Dave Delia and James O'Hare lived lives of crime.
Okay.
Strings of arrests reaching back decades. But maybe they weren't so bad, Chris. You see, they decided to help an old friend, Virgilio Cintrone, cash a check in Hell's Kitchen. Unfortunately, they were turned away when the person at the counter told them Virgilio had to be present himself.
Oh.
So they went back to his apartment to get him. Also, Virgilio's been dead this whole time.
Yikes.
They haphazardly dressed him.
Oh, God.
And
What does that mean exactly?
There was a detail about them trying to put his pants on and it didn't go great.
What do you mean?
I don't know.
It just said like it didn't go well?
No, but I don't want to talk about it.
Wait, you have to.
They said that they tried to put pants on him, but they couldn't get him all the way up. So they put a blanket on his lap to cover the area that wasn't enpantsed. Which is what I do all the time. If I don't fit into my clothes anymore, I just wrap a blanket around my midsection.
Why the hell couldn't they get his pants all the way up?
Call it a day, mean the day's over. Yeah. Wake up in the morning, my clothes don't fit, wrap a blanket around myself, call it a day.
That's a wrap on that.
Back to bed.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Why could they not get his pants up?
Questions I don't want to think about an answer to. Rigor mortis?
I would say rigor mortis, maybe. Yeah. That is so ridiculous.
Oh.
Did they put him in a wheelchair or something with it?
Yes.
Okay.
They attempted to wheel him into the building.
God, people are ghouls.
But unfortunately, Johnny Law got in their way. For you see, Detective Travis Rapp,
good name,
was sitting in a restaurant having lunch.
And he sees this scene rolling by?
When he saw what he thought was two guys wheeling a mannequin or a dummy down the road.
Oh my God.
Quote from Detective Rapp, "I thought it was a joke, honestly." Detective Rapp approached the two.
For some reason, I picture this guy wearing like a sock on his head, like a hat. Like they just couldn't figure out how to dress him.
Poor man. Detective Rapp approached the fellas, and they simply said, "Oh, we just need to get our friend inside this store to cash a check." He told them to stand back and quickly realized that this man was dead.
Oh my God.
"Oh my God, he's gone?" said one of the two dummies.
They tried to play like that just happened?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Here's the thing. Basically, nobody was fooled. When they went in to cash the check, now that they've got him, they brought the wheelchair to the place of business. And then one of the guys went inside and was like, "See, he's out there." Like, look through the window. He's right
and like
there.
the other guy made him wave.
Yeah, I guess. And they were like, "Oh, he needs to be in here."
Yeah, why would that work?
And that's when the the
The jig
breakdown.
was up.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
But basically, this was taking place on a busy street in Manhattan.
That's what, when you said this happened in Manhattan, I was like, that is a bustling place.
Yeah, there's a quote from another bystander, Victor Rodriguez, who worked at a nearby restaurant. He saw the whole thing, Chris. I saw this guy sitting in this chair with his head back. He looked very dead. That's the full quote in the news. Although there was one guy, if only he had been working at that counter, if only he had been the cop, this guy, Garrett, said, quote, he went in regular clothes. I didn't even know he was dead. I thought he was alive. I wonder if these two guys, David D'Elia and James O'Hare, were like, we got one of them.
Man, yes.
We fooled one.
That is so crazy.
Yeah. So there you go. It happens in real life.
William, those were awesome.
Weekend at Bernie's, IRL, TRL. Crazy.
They could have rolled right by TRL Studios, and Carson Daly probably could have picked that out as a dead guy from the top of the rock.
Yeah.
I know it's not at the
And he
top
wouldn't
of the
even know
rock.
that this guy was dead. No one
Yeah.
wants to talk to Carson Daly.
I was about to make a joke about you not being able to tell if Carson Daly's alive or dead.
Yeah.
So wouldn't.
Yeah, true. Bam. So evidently, out
Great.
there, play a game. If you just Google Weekend at Bernie's in real life, you'll find several stories. There were even more. I just picked 3 I liked.
Now, I don't want to see them. I'm just curious. Were there pictures at all of these situations?
Boy, you know what? Yeah.
Really?
There was one
Yeah.
of the Liverpool situation. I saw
That is the saddest
scrolling
one.
it is. They're all
Well, they're all
you know,
sad because you shouldn't do that to a person, but
Yeah.
like they had like no like malintent. You know what I mean? Like that was like their dad and husband.
Yeah, but it's weird that they're then just like
Oh, you
we
can
get
stay
on the-
here. I
can
know
we
that
get
is,
on the
that
plane?
is so weird.
Yeah, there was a picture. I saw a picture of an old man, and I just immediately looked away.
Yeah, I
didn't
don't want
wanna-
to see that. Yeah.
I think I've said it on the show before. I
Yeah.
used to, when I was a young boy, believe that it was for some reason illegal to even like
Yeah.
photograph a dead body or something like that.
Yeah.
Still seems weird to me that it's not.
I know.
I guess the police aren't going
It
to
seems indecent.
waggle a baton in your face for doing it.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, it doesn't seem right. I feel like the living should not be looking at the dead too long. You know what I mean? Doesn't that seem weird?
Yes, it does. I agree with you.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh God.
Anyway, so there you
Right.
go.
So there you have it, guys.
Weekend at Bernie's, the reality
Yep.
show. What's a better way to call that? Like, what's a snappier title for this?
What do you mean? Weekend at the Bernie's, the reality show? What's
Yeah.
the snap of your title for that?
Well, because I want to put it like on the show, like the title of the show.
Are you talking about like? Are you making a pretend reality show? Is that what we're doing? or are you talking about
like what's
for
the
our
name of the segment for
episode?
this episode?
Oh,
you know what I mean? Because I came up with a real life at
real life.
Bernie's, but that's not good.
I think it could only be a real life Weekend at Bernie's because anything else is gonna be too cutesy and clever and it doesn't convey what it is.
You don't like real
That-
life at Bernie's. It doesn't
I
mean
do,
anything.
but it just doesn't mean people will know what that
It
is.
doesn't convey a single damn thing. Real life at Bernie's. You don't know what that means. It's time for real life at Bernie's. Oh, okay.
Okay, what do we do?
Oh,
Does that just mean boring stuff like
Yeah.
you grocery shop? Like that's like
guess.
real life.
Yeah, who knows? All right, everybody.
All right,
Either
we out.
way, that takes us to the end.
Yep.
Of another episode of Guide to the Unknown.
That's right.
Oh, did you enjoy your time? I did.
Me too.
Let us know about it. Go on Apple Podcasts, leave us a 5-star review.
Yep, that'd be great.
Write some tweets, Facebook posts, share the show, spread the word.
Yep. Any way that you like. Just tell people about us. Tell people you like us.
We've gotten
That'd be
some
great.
pretty nice feedback on this show.
I
will
know.
say. I'm very pleasantly surprised.
Me too. It's
Yeah.
really nice.
Yeah, let's keep the party going.
Yeah, let's get a sense of community going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go to facebook.com/GTTU pod.
Yep.
Follow us. Make sure that you join the secret group so that you can talk to us.
Yep.
Post other spooky stuff with us.
Yep.
Go to patreon.com/GTTU pod if you want to toss a quarter our way.
Yeah. Or you
as a
can
little thank
Venmo us at GTTU pod.
Yeah, that's
It's
right.
also an
that's
option.
right.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
all right.
it.
We'll
All
see you
right.
next week for another spooky, hair raiser.
Until then, you can find Guides the Unknown on all social media at GTTUpod, and you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at ChillinKristen.
That's right. I'm at Haunted Sponge, by the way.
Sponge.
But until next we meet, we must travel.
Back to the netherworld. Go we.